Shabbat Shalom. We welcome you to Congregation Beth Israel as together we enter into the spirit of the Sabbath, enjoying beautiful music, meaningful prayers, a beautiful message, a perfect way to enter the Sabbath spirit. Life and joy and peace await us. Welcome. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos to each of you. I'm delighted to stand on the bima again after a long summer, vacation, a little R&R, and I'm delighted to see all of you here today. I'm most delighted to look behind me and to see my colleagues, Cantor Star trumpeter. You've enjoyed her all summer, but this is the first Shabbat on the bima where I also will delight in seeing her, and not just by live stream. Welcome. And Rabbi Chase Foster, who has joined us as well, his energy and enthusiasm have already made a positive difference on our congregation and staff, so I'm very happy to welcome you to our bima too, Rabbi Foster. And Rabbi Scott was so delighted that I came back that she is spending Shabbat with her family tonight. For all of us, the summer has meant so many different things. Some of us have traveled, some of us have had great joys, and some of us some terrible sorrows. But the Gordon Chapel and our congregational family is always the place where we return to find a source of strength, a source of meaning. We find it through familiar prayers and songs that help us know that God's presence in our life is a source of everything that we need. Sometimes a reason to say thank you, and sometimes simply to know that we're not always alone. And certainly not tonight.
We are together as a congregational, worshiping family, and I'm delighted that I can turn to Cantor Trumpeter and invite her now to lead us in song.
Shabbat Shalom. We begin with Yedid Nefesh on page 10. We will then continue with the singing of Lecha Dodi on page 20 as we welcome in Shabbat. Please join me. Yedid Nefesh of HaRachaman, Yedid Nefesh of HaRachaman, Mishoch Avdecha, Eretz Zonecha, Mishoch Avdecha, Yai Dai Dai Dai.
beautiful way to enter the spirit of Shabbat. In our prayer book now, we turn to page 2 and 3 as we invite Cantor to lead us in the blessing over the Sabbath lights.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. We continue on page 28 as we rise now for our call to worship, Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Page 31, together at the top. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and night, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Amari Varavim. Page 32. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we'll meditate on your laws and your commandments. We'll rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we'll reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Anochi mitzaveh
ושינתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 39, responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
May heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets, instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, norati lo dofef eleh, norati lo dosef eleh, malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, zeli, zeli, anu v'yameru, Adonai yimloch leolam ba'ed, Adonai yimloch leolam ba'ed, Adonai yimloch leolam ba'ed. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Page 43, together. Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapoes sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות
Together, the people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day God ceased from work and was refreshed.
Hatfilah begins on page 46 and 48. Please rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufia gitehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Gula Lifnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer, Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah.
Page 51, responsively. We pray that we might know before whom we stand, the power whose gift is life, who quickens those who have forgotten how to live.
We pray for the winds to disperse the choking air of sadness, for cleansing rains to make parched hopes flower, to give all of us the strength to rise up towards the sun.
We pray for love to encompass us, for no other reason save that we are human, for love through which we may all blossom into persons who have gained power over our own lives.
We pray to stand upright, we fallen, to be healed, we sufferers. We pray to break the bonds that keep us from the world of beauty. We pray for opened eyes, we who are blind to our own authentic selves.
We pray that we may walk in the garden of a purposeful life, our own powers in touch with the power of the world.
Praise be to God whose gift is life, whose cleansing rains let parched men and women flower toward the sun.
Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh Hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kedoshim b'chol yom halalucha selah. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. Page 55, together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, and our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance, and let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha bira na'avod. Page 59, together. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulcha na'eh lehodot. Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people forever, for you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and moment with your peace. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael ba'shalom.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim.
We pause for a moment of private prayer.
When someone we love is in pain, it's often a helpless feeling that we are left with, wishing we could do something to ease their pain or even take it away. But often all we can do is to turn to the source of healing and strength which sustains each of us and ask God for the blessing of healing for them, be it a healing of their body, their spirit, or their soul. This Shabbat, we're thinking especially of Morgan Aaron, Ira Wiener, Larry Wiesel, Fern Winograd, Fran Fleischman, Andrea E. Moreno-Kluger, Ted Dinerstein, and Bill Cadell, who are in need of healing. And we add to their names the names of all of our loved ones whom we hold in our hearts now. As we turn to our prayer for healing, Misha Berach, the words can be found on page 253. I often like to look forward a bit into the future, and now that I've recently turned 30, I'm starting to look towards retirement. I've actually kind of always looked forward to retirement. On my very first day of rabbinical school, each student was asked to introduce himself or herself and say what kind of rabbi they would like to be. Many said they wanted to be congregational rabbis, others said rabbis of a Hillel, or a chaplain at a hospital. I responded that I wanted to be Rabbi Emeritus. It seems like a fun job, and after meeting Rabbi Karf and getting to know him, I think I'm fully convinced of it. And in my retirement, which comes someday, I hope to do a bit of traveling. I was raised in a family that loves to travel, to see new places and experience new cultures. And so I want to see different parts of the world. And sometimes I think, when I finally retire, what places might I be able to visit? Perhaps I'll go to Caracas, or Tehran, or Damascus, or maybe Pyongyang. It might be strange to think of it, but think of it this way. My parents, now that their children have grown, have been able to visit Moscow, Havana, Beijing, and Ho Chi Minh City. Raised during the Cold War and attending college during the Vietnam War, neither of my parents ever thought they'd be able to visit these places in their lifetimes. Our country was at various states of war with the communist bloc, and all they could do was practice their duck and cover drills while they hoped that the future would be a bit safer and less terrifying for their children. So as I think to the future, and as I think to the way my parents must have thought about the future, I wonder, is the world safer? It doesn't seem so this week, as the news is filled with frightening reports of increased tensions with North Korea. Once again, we read of threats being traded and concerns about an impending nuclear conflict. So how could one not be fearful? Even in the height of the Cold War, it does not seem that we had to deal with such an adversary that was so irrational and opaque. Yet while the diplomatic wheels turn, perhaps this Shabbat we can turn to Torah as a source of comfort and guidance during a trying time. This week's Torah portion is Ekev from the book of Deuteronomy. And we read this week as Moses addresses the Israelites overlooking the promised land and repeats to them much of the details of the covenant that God established with them and with their ancestors. Moses reminds the Israelites that if they will observe the commandments, God will reward them with progeny, with wealth, and with the land of Israel, a land flowing with milk and honey. Yet with the memory of the spies' report still in their minds, and with the sight of the inhabitants of that land before them, the people were afraid for the future battles which lay ahead as they would have to conquer the land. But Moses reassured them regarding the future, saying, "Should you say to yourselves, 'These nations are more numerous than we, how can we dispossess them?' You should have no fear of them. You have but to bear in mind what Adonai your God did to Pharaoh and the Egyptians." Moses eased the people's fears about the future by reminding them of their past. Sure, the future seems difficult, but think about what you've already been through. The Israeli singer Meir Ariel repeats this sentiment in one of his most famous songs, entitled Avarnu et Paro na'avor gam et zeh. We made it past Pharaoh, we'll make it past this too. So there's much to learn from the Israelites' fear and from Moses' reassurance, as fear for the future seems to be constantly with us. I'm skeptical indeed on whether there has ever been a single moment in human history in which the future has seemed completely safe, secure, or certain. Today we face a nuclear regime in North Korea and the threat of global terrorism. Older generations face nuclear threats from the Soviet Union or war from the Axis powers. So how is it that we cope with the fear of what comes next, of the evil which exists in the world, rising in each generation and constantly threatening our future? Well, as Jews, we unfortunately have much practice in facing up to challenges. And again, our tradition teaches us what Moses taught the Israelites in this week's Torah portion. Look to the past when you need hope in the present. It was the message that Professor Deborah Lipstadt taught with us this past spring when she reminded us of the line in the Passover Haggadah, which reads, B'chol dor v'dor omdim aleinu l'chalutenu v'akadosh baruch hu matzilenu miyadam. That in each generation they stand before us to destroy us, but God saves us from their grasp. It's what the poet Menashe Ravina knew when he played with this line in a verse from Psalms when he wrote the famous Zionist song, B'chol dor v'dor yakum hagibur go'el ha'am, that in each generation a hero arises to save our people. The history of the Jewish people is a history of surviving and even thriving despite enormous challenges. The story of the Jewish people is the story of optimism in the face of despair. Perhaps in this lesson of looking to the past for future hope, this tradition of finding optimism in the face of despair, we can learn a lesson for dealing with our current crisis. Rabbis do not have crystal balls, and I'm not privy to classified diplomatic conversations, and so I cannot say where the current standoff will end. I can't say whether next week will bring a greater or lesser chance of war, but I can look to our tradition for a bit of guidance. And in our tradition, when the people feared, God promised to carry them through the danger the way a man might carry his son. The medieval commentator Rashi teaches this by way of a metaphor, comparing God to one who walks along a path. When he sees the bandits ahead, he places his child behind him to protect him. But when he hears wolves behind him, he places the child in front of him. And when there are both bandits ahead and wolves behind, he simply picks up the child in his arms and defends him any way that he can. When we look to the uncertainty of the future, we pray for God to walk before us and guide us. And when we learn of the difficulties and tragedies in our past, we ask God to walk behind us and push us forward towards better times. Yet we are continually recovering from the last crisis and preparing for the next, and so we always seem to pray for God to hold us, protect us, and defend us. And all the while we cling to the hope that after we survive the current dangers, there's a safer path ahead. We see the same hope in our tradition when we celebrate new life. When we welcome a child into the covenant between God and Israel shortly after birth, we always save a chair for Elijah the prophet. Elijah in our tradition is the prophet who will herald the arrival of the Messianic age. We invite Elijah to each Brit Milah and baby naming in the hope that this new child will live to see that age, an age free of war and suffering. It's our tradition's way of expressing that which each parent hopes for their child, that they will leave there for their children a better world than they themselves inherited. I'm sure as we look at the current crisis, we realize that perhaps the world is not so much better than it was once long ago in the Cold War. But as much as these are dark days, as Jews we have known even darker days. And during the darkest of our people's periods of history, we know that many of our ancestors sang out the words, Ani ma'amin beviat HaMashiach v'af al pi sheyitmameh ani ma'amin. I believe in the coming of the Messiah, and even though it tarries, I still believe. This famous statement is a statement of that hope in the face of despair which pervades our history. No matter how much we know that each generation before us has faced fear and uncertainty, we continue to pray that the next generation will know peace and tranquility. We continue to work toward the day when each shall sit under his vine or her fig tree with none to make them afraid. We should not fear the future or the present, for the world changes rapidly, and we hope simply that it will change for the better. Who knows which places will be safe to visit once I'm finally old enough to retire? Who knows what the world will look like for the next generation? But this Shabbat, as we contemplate the future and the present, all we can do is cling to that eternal optimism that has guided our people for generations. May we continue to hope and to pray that the future is something not to fear, but to work towards and to build. May that future be, for the sake of our children and our children's children, filled with beauty, serenity, safety, and peace. Amen. We continue on page 282 and 287 with Aleinu. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atei gedula liyotzeh bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, v'lo samanu kemishmechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, ba'anachnu משתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה
We continue on page 294. As we do, we call to heart and mind those dear ones who departed this earth and under the peace of life eternal in recent days. Lovingly we remember Darlene Haber, Ira Black. And we add the names of those the anniversary of whose death is observed this Shabbat. It's our custom in the Gordon Chapel that as the name of your loved one is called, you may wish to rise where you are. Afterwards, all of us will stand together to recite Kaddish as a congregation. And so we remember Max Offlick, Will Goldman, Jerome Kleinerman, Abe Lewis, Lena Weiser, Sam Aronstein, Hannah Barron, Louis Brown, Celia Bergauer, William Cipro, Charles Diamond, Marlene Friedman, Faye Cadis, Max Nathanson, Elizabeth Rosen, Sam Rosenbaum, Estelle Rubin, Rose Weinschelbaum, Abe Zaks, Eugene Zucker, Molly Brand, Amy Copeland, Jessica Danziger, Bernard Fallick, Grace Gallen, Rose Grogan, Ross Grogan, Richard Kay, Bernard Lempert, Nettie Maltz, Jules Marcus, Abraham Rappaport, Jenny Rikus, Edith Slotnick, Eric Stander, Randolph Wendell, Stella Zuber, Sarah Canner, William Craker, Sophia Cunina, Ursula Lowenthal, Carol Mayer, Ida Aronson, Peggy Ephron, Isaac Goodfriend, Alan Greenberg, Harriet Nathan, Dave Tashnik, Raymond Wolfe, Octavian Gavrila, Flora Goldberg, Jean Kaufman, Jerome Levy, Bernard Rabinowitz, Idel Schmoish, Pauline Spear, Helen Wilkenfeld, Charles Blumenthal, Emmanuel Brodsky, Renee Cohen, Charles Jacobson, Oliver Lapin, John Lowenthal, Hedwig Marks, Lillian Yaffe, Isaac Gerwich, Richard Lannon, Isidore Max Poborski, Gerald Bass. In their memory and in their honor, we rise now to recite the words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad yivrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon uv'yomechon uv'chayed kol Beit Yisrael, v'galal v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam alamei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitjomam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmeir kudashah b'richu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, damiram b'yamav v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all the bereaved among us, as together we say, amen. As we have dealt with death as part of life, we turn our attention to Kiddush so that we may sanctify the Sabbath day, the day in which we give thanks to God for the gift of life. And we invite Cantor to lead us. We can join her on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'yava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron le'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol amim, v'shabbat kodshecha b'yava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. My name is Stan Levy, and I have the privilege of serving as treasurer of Beth Israel's Board of Trustees. Rabbi Adrian Scott is home tonight, spending Shabbat with her family. Mazel tov to the family of Bella Blue, who is becoming a bat mitzvah this Shabbat. A special welcome to Rabbi Dr. Deborah Kahn-Harris, who is joining us tonight from the Rabbi Leo Baeck College in London, where she serves as principal. On Friday, August 19th, we will host our first Shabbat Shindig of the new year. Families with children 5 and under are invited to attend a short service led by Rabbi Adrian Scott and Rabbi Chase Foster, breakfast and playtime. Please contact Rabbi Foster for more information. Beginning on Wednesday, August 23rd, Beth Israel will host a monthly mitzvah project with kids' meals. If you are interested in volunteering and for more information, please contact Marcia Gilbert. On Friday, August 25th, the congregation is invited to a special Shir Shabbat musical service at 6:30 in the sanctuary with cantor trumpeter and our clergy team. Please arrive early as we expect a very large crowd. On Sunday, August 27, the Miriam Brown Jewish Learning Center will kick off the new year with their Shalom Sunday program featuring a campfire theme and introducing cantor star trumpeter and Rabbi Chase Foster, and an opportunity for the children to meet their educators. To register, contact the MBJLC offices. After tonight's services, please feel free to visit the membership table and introduce yourself to me and my fellow trustee on the Bema, Marcia Stein, so that we may welcome you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Our closing song this Shabbat is Hallelujah. You can find the words on page 339. Please rise and join us.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol hanshama to hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol hanshama to hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. One more time, here we go. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol hanshama to hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol hanshama to hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu, our God and God of all our ancestors. On this Shabbat, we recall the deeds of creation, that time at the beginning of time when you drove out chaos for order. And so we ask that today, in our own chaotic times, you once again drive out chaos for the sake of order, drive out pain for the sake of healing, drive out violence for the sake of peace. Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We welcome you to Congregation Beth Israel as together we enter into the spirit of the Sabbath, enjoying beautiful music, meaningful prayers, a beautiful message, a perfect way to enter the Sabbath spirit. Life and joy and peace await us. Welcome. Shabbat Shalom.